I've just come from walking with my wife, and that's an apt thing to refer to because of wanting to do a few mini videos on the whole idea of the body and its relationship to Christian formation. We all know the adage that we're human beings, we're not human doings. And yet, God has placed within us this desire to be workers, to cultivate and keep the garden, to use Genesis language. And I know for me, when I'm sick, the discouragement of not being able to work, not being able to produce, is both a God-given thing, and then obviously you can have a fleshly, sinful side of it where I'm wanting to kind of show that I'm still worth something because I can work. But I'm thinking about this a lot with respect, again, to this whole series on the body and what happens when you have severe limitations, either physically or mentally, that really don't allow you to produce very much. And I remember one time with my arthritis when it was still kind of undiagnosed, they were uncertain what it was, and I was just in a lot of pain, and I was still wanting to write, and I would literally crawl across the floor in the study and write a sentence or two and then kind of collapse and fall asleep, and it wasn't very restful sleep. I'd wake up and I felt like almost more miserable than I was before because I was expecting the sleep to wake me up and the sleep didn't. So that expectation kind of was depressing to realize it's not really working. But I was still able to do something. And that's what I would certainly give advice to anyone else that has chronic pain and things that they struggle with. At least try to do something. But what if you can't do anything? What if you have such a debilitating situation physically and or mentally that you just can't do much of anything? And I think in that case, the answer biblically, the response biblically, I don't want to say the answer because that just sounds too trite, but it is the answer. I think the response we ought to give is 2 Corinthians 1, where Paul could not pull himself out of his own discouragement, and he needed the prayers of others. So when we can't do anything, and when we're so hampered by either physical or mental limitations, then asking others or having others pray for us, I think, is the very thing we ought to do.